USC versus Notre Dame. One of my proudest moments of the season. I pick games. If you guys don't know that, each and every week I'm in S-Pop's Pick'em League with my guy Road Dogg with some other creators, independent creators who are all great in their own way, which is spectacular. And it's difficult to pick games. This is one of those games I got to pick. So the last game is one of the ones I got to pick as well. But at this point in the season, you're starting to trust with your eyes a little bit. Even though this season has taught us very much so that believe half of what you hear and none of what you see. Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see, because that's how crazy this. The moments you think you know something this year, you're fooled. The moment you say, oh man, Missouri plays with outstanding balance, they can run the ball, they can pass the ball, they possess the ball, they go play in Alabama and do none of that. So what you think you know this college football season, you do not know. Well, that's the thing I think I know this year, that USC can compete in the Big Ten, and that's not something I think a lot of people would have said entering this year. This is a rivalry. I'm not sure if they were able to get this extended, but I know it was one of those things they were fighting for, to be able to get this rivalry extended. I believe Notre Dame and Clemson was able to get theirs extended, but this is something that just needs to continue to go on. USC is currently number 20th in the country at 5-1. Notre Dame is number 13th in the country at 4-2. This game, of course, is on NBC. Hawks will get fired. I don't think you're wrong, bro. To lose 3 straight games, Mike Locksley may get fired if they lose that game. And the crazy thing is, they're a couple plays away from being 6-0. That's what crazy. All right, so let's talk about the history of this rivalry. This is their 94th meeting between these two. I believe they're both college football blue bloods, whether you like it or not. What USC was able to do in the 70s and Notre Dame, the pageantry, the tradition, the play like a champion. Again, when you watch or think of college football, what is the first thing you think about? For me, it's South Bend, Indiana, the mecca of college football. I have not been there. And when I do get an opportunity to go there and see a game from that field, I will shed tears. Shed thug tears, though. I'm going to shed a few tears. It's just one of those meccas of college football. Notre Dame leads the series 50-37 with 5 ties. And currently, they got a 2-game win streak heading into Saturday. We already talked about history. We set the table. Let's talk about the coaches and the team pulse. Notre Dame. How do you feel about Notre Dame now versus after that Texas A&M loss? They had lost 2 straight games. Lost to Miami. Opening week of the season, week 1, even though week 0 is the opening week of the season. And then they lost to Texas A&M in outstanding fashion. Like, Texas A&M ran the kickback. The kick was called back. People were saying it was a holding call, not called. I was like, well, they did call the kickback, so let's keep it there. Let's stay there. So Notre Dame is truly trending in the right direction. CJ Carr is outstanding. And Jalen was the first person I heard say this. Now, I know other people have used this parallel since then, not saying that they heard it from them. Other people could have came up with the same idea, but they used it with different people. Jalen once said, Jalen Wilson, who I do the show College Football Showdown with, we will be live tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He said, if CJ Carr's last name was Manning, he'll be getting a lot more hype than he's getting now. And that's just an outstanding phrase. I believe it 100%. Irish is 4-2, and they're averaging 40 points per game. You know what's interesting about that? When you think about Notre Dame under Marcus Freeman tutelage, you think about a defensive-oriented team. I think what we have here with Notre Dame, and we're going to talk more about it because, of course, we're going to start with USC first, but I think you have a Notre Dame team where Mike Denbrock is really comfortable as a play caller. You see Jamal Love and Jadarian Price both getting a lot of touches. C.J. Carr looks extremely comfortable, so the offense that you wanted when he first left LSU after back-to-back, like consecutive years where they were, top. I think they were number 1 scoring offense in 2022 and 2023 while he was down at LSU. If you were expecting for that, of course, that was an adjustment period. But what they're doing now offensively is really special. So Lincoln Riley has his team turning in the right direction. 5 one-score losses a season ago. I think a lot of people missed that, right? Me and Moon both were at the Maryland USC for Maryland home game a season ago. Me and Moon were both tweak your what's going on? Oh, shouldn't be any audio. My bad. Yeah, it shouldn't have been no audio there. My fault. We good though. Me and Moon were both at the USC and Maryland game a year ago. And this is an example I made on the show before. Mind you, me and Moon are both air raid enthusiasts. We have an air raid playbook, over 200 plays. I expect on expanding that after this season. So the average My apology. The average play call sheet is something like this, if not bigger, right? Lincoln Riley's play call sheet. It's probably about the size of this gift card right here. His play call sheet is about the size of this gift card right here. That's how big his play call sheet is. And I don't even think it's play calls because the air raid system is really, really easy. Well, like once you understand what it is, like a 92 is a mesh, like a 91 is a shallow cross. Once you get that, you understand the playbook, right? But I think it's just percentages of when teams blitz, they don't blitz, and the type of blitz. Like me and Moon we was like, yo, we was just pointing at it like, yo, that's crazy. I've never seen that before. So let's talk more about this USC offense and what Lincoln Riley likes to do. He is the head coach and the play caller. Not a lot of those left, but he's one of them ones. Shout out to my dog, Zach Kelly, who follows me on Twitter, who I've had the outstanding opportunity, and I follow him as well, had the outstanding opportunity to interview him at American Media Days this past summer. 53 points, dog. Great job. You guys are trending in the right direction. And can you guys do the unthinkable this weekend? I can't wait to see it. I need to make it down there for a game. I promise you I'm going to make it down there for a game this year. But USC's offense, this offense is really cooking, and it's impressive. It's really impressive to see. Right, the size of your driver license, right. And to explain what this is, right, to explain the air raid, a 91 is a shallow cross. 92 is a mesh. 93 is an H-wheel. 94 is a Y-cell. 95 is a Y-cross, but it can also be an H-cross, just depending on the formation. But you start to get exactly what they do in this number system that they do. But in my opinion, it has evolved because of the dependency on the scheme has went down a little bit, because now he's starting to say, hey, man, we got to get the ball to Makai Lemon, so let's go get the ball to Makai Lemon. We will go to Boca Raton in November. Yes, sir. We need to make that happen immediately. So I look at this game. I look at this offense, right? We saw the kid King Miller go nuclear against Michigan this past week. They out Michigan. You guys heard me say that on the Monday episode. But Jayden Maiava, 1,852 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 71% completion percentage. That screams and that reeks air raid. Waymond Jordan, 576 yards, 5 touchdowns. Makai Lemon is surely but slowly building his way up for being one of the top receivers heading into the 2026 NFL draft. This kid is real deal. 682 yards, 6 touchdowns. The Trojans rank second nationally in total offense, 552 yards per game. Third in scoring, 45 points per game. They're surgical on third downs. 55% on third down is crazy. That's 5th in the country and devastating in space. I'm telling you, Lincoln Riley is going to be up there for Coach of the Year. What he's doing right now, and he's so disrespected. That's the thing I don't understand, bro. He's so disrespected, and I get it. I'm an air raid purist. Of course, I love the system. I love coaches who coach the air raid and also understand the differences in air raids, right? But, dude, what he's doing right now, a few plays away from beating Illinois. They could be undefeated right now. And if they go in South Bend and do what I think they can do, look out. Offense is amazing. And they're going to stretch the field. They're going to use the width and the length of the field. This team is dangerous. This team is really dangerous. Let's talk about D'Anton Lynn. We talked a lot about him last week as we was prepping for that Michigan and USC game, and I thought that because he was a disciple of Don Wink Martindale that he may be able to give Lincoln Riley the upper hand against him, and vice versa, of course, but that adaptability and accountability that he's brought with this defense. Like, remember how bad this defense was while D'Anton Lynn was in UCLA, and then that was the reason he was brought to USC. Hey, we need to be able to play defense. Of course, it's a 3-4 base, and they can morph into whatever the hell they want to morph into. That's D'Anton Lynn. Of course, you're going to get exotic pressure, simulated pressures. That is exactly what you're going to get. And then USC offensive line is growing every week. That's a key point that Moon said. They're growing every week. Jayden Maiava cannot have a bad turnover the way he had a bad turnover last week versus Michigan. That was a play that I know probably lives rent-free in his mind. Throw it away, live to fight another down. What do I always say on the show? Your possessions need to end in the kick. That's point out the touchdown, field goal, punt. You don't want to punt, but it's better than turning the damn ball over and giving them better field position. Giving them better field position, right? The Trojans do give up 352 yards per game, right? That's 62nd in the country, and 21.3 points per game. That's 51st. I know those numbers aren't eye-popping, but believe you me, this is a finesse program. They came from the Pac-12, came to the Big Ten, and what did we say? Can they bring their lunch pail, right? And can they win ugly games? They've shown that they can win ugly games. They've shown that they can still win finesse games. They're bringing the fun to the Big Ten. This offense is nasty. This offense is very nasty. So we talked a lot about USC. Let's talk about Notre Dame. Mike Denbrock. Is he the best offensive coordinator in college football? I think the stats say it, right? Offense is about balance and adaptability. The average ranked 21st in total offense, 465 yards a game, 14 in scoring. It's incredible for a Marcus Freeman coach team. 40 points per game, driven by rhythm and versatility. That's what you're going to get out of this offense. Who do I got? Can you make a play? Okay. Well, last year we got to be dependent on our defense and run the ball. We're going to do that. This year we got a kid who can deal. We're going to throw the ball as well, and we're going to be extremely balanced. Jeremiah Love, 530 yards in the season, 8 touchdowns. Denbrock is absolutely a menace. Jordan Faison, 376 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Jadarian Price, don't forget about him. That 1-2 punch that they have at running back, best in the country. Absolutely best in the country. Denbrock uses a mix of inside zones, RPOs, and deep vertical shots. And he will. Believe that. Forces defenses to respect all levels. He really do. Leans on tight ends when he have to. Red zone looks and loves play action. And the screen game. The evolution of the screen game for Mike Denbrock has been impressive because it's something that Notre Dame has always done. It's not something we saw a lot during his tenure in Baton Rouge. We didn't see a lot of screen game. But now he's evolved. He said, I got running backs that can catch and run the ball, right? And even though he don't run the air raid, but Moon know this. What is the famous statement by Hal Mummy, the creator of the air raid, him and along with Mike Leach? Throw as short as possible to people who can score as many times as possible. That's what it is, right? Chris Shad's defensive scheme, this is a lot of what Marcus Freeman likes to do, if we're being honest. They give you a multiple front look. They'll give you that 4-2-5 look. They'll give you that 3-3-5 look. Notre Dame allows 350 yards per game. That's 58th in the country. This isn't very indicative of a Marcus Freeman's team. 20 points per game. That's 47th in the country. Run defense is still outstanding, 105 yards per game. That's 25th in the country. And through the air, they're 105th nationally. So we saw what Marcel Reed, Colin Klein, Texas A&M offensive coordinator was able to do against them. Lincoln Riley, Jayden Maiava, and that was in South Bend, by the way, and Jayden Maiava coming to town, that's going to be scary. That's going to be 100% scary. And Chris Ash, I like what he's done so far. I still think this is really the defense. He's the defense coordinator. I think a lot of the principles and stuff still come from Marcus Freeman, but it'll be interesting. So some of the things to watch in this game. USC, 5th and 3rd down offense, 55%. 25th in red zone scoring. Pretty damn good at 93% clip. Notre Dame plus 6 turnover margin is 8th nationally, and they're 14th in scoring defense. Penalties USC is 112th nationally. They got to play cleaner. They must play cleaner in South Bend, or things can get ugly in a hurry. And Jayden Maiava, he's who I'm watching in this game. USC is certainly going to bring tempo. We know that with an air raid offense. But who wins this game? Give me USC. I went with USC last week when they played a really physical team in Michigan and they out Michigan. Do you think Notre Dame flipped the switch defensively post A&M? Yes and no. All right. So we saw them play Arkansas, and Arkansas struggled to score. I think the final score was like 56-13. NC State had opportunities versus Notre Dame. NC State certainly had opportunities versus Notre Dame. They just didn't convert. If Notre Dame allows or affords the same opportunities to this USC team that they allowed to NC State, I like USC. USC is so damn good, and enough people aren't talking about them. Enough people really aren't talking about them. This is an All-American shootout. We see CJ Carve and Jayden Maiava go toe-to-toe in this game. Give me USC in a shootout.